Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How is everybody doing this morning? Everybody survived that winter storm in the Midwest? Boy, those are days just as nice to sit home and do nothing, aren't they? Well, this morning's live stream is going to be about uh, Venezuela and Pete Hegsef's double tap and my opinions on that. And this, like I say, in this channel, these are my opinions, okay? Everybody has the right to have their own opinion. You just don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. But the other one is we're going to talk about immigration and the mentality of older style immigration compared to newer style immigration. The mentality between the immigrants, okay? Because I realize we are a land of immigrants, but the mentality's changed in the immigrants. And then the levels of passionate freedom. I always get told I'm a very passionate person, right? And with freedom, definitely. What I mean is I love my freedom. And, I loved it so much I joined the service, the Marine Corps, to serve my country, to ensure everybody else could have freedom. So, I'm very passionate about that. And we're going to discuss the levels of passion of freedom where some people don't understand us, some of us service members, let's just say. Always telling us to calm down. You calm yourself down right into a cell is what you do, a no freedom cell. Anyway, but that's what we're going to discuss today. I want to wait for a few people to show up. I want to say something that happened to me yesterday on my subscriptions, people I subscribe to. Normally, YouTube cancels people's subscriptions, or they'll sit there and unsubscribe people, right? But you never really get somebody that they actually sat there and subscribed you to. Well, I got on my feed yesterday morning and I got this Muslim Arabic, probably terrorist channel. I couldn't read it. And all of a sudden that was on my subscriptions. And I'm like, really? I clicked on it and stuff to see if I was subscribed because it came up on my subscription feed. So now they subscribe me to some. I believe me, I unsubscribed it right away. But whatever, YouTube, you and your games, all day long. So I thought that was kind of weird. So you can't. I just don't understand why all of a sudden. It's like when I wake up in the morning, right? And or throughout the day, I'll turn on my phone after I cleared out everything, turn my phone off, and I'll turn my, hit the button and turn my phone back on. And all of a sudden, for some reason, my camera and microphone are on, right? How'd that ever turn on by itself? Anyway, we live in a real goofy world. Let's start to get into Venezuela and the Pete Hegsef's double tap, okay? Now, this is my view of it. They are trying to tell the American people that they are at war. And this is just my opinion. Being a Marine, understanding the Geneva Convention and wars and stuff, but they say we're at war with the drug cartels, correct? In Venezuela, correct? That's why they're blowing up those ships, correct? Because those people in those boats are basically enemy combatants, right? They are the enemy. That makes them enemy combatants. That makes it, we are at war with them. That would mean that these people in those boats, if they survive, are protected under the Geneva Convention. The rules of the rules afforded, the protections afforded to enemy combatants that are captured. The Germans were a very bad people during World War II. A lot of the military did a lot of bad things. But when they were captured and they were brought to the United States, check out some memoirs of German POWs and Japanese POWs, how good they had it in this country. Okay, you know how we defeated the German POWs in our POW camps? You know why they really never want to escape? Because we defeated them with kindness. Okay? But anyway, these people are allowed the protections under the Geneva Convention. That's the way I see it. I mean, Venezuela didn't declare war on us. I mean, there's rules to everything. You start not obeying the rules, and you think you got the moral high ground, you're just basically being the bad guy. Okay, and then let's say they start taking prisoners from us. We treated the German prisoners good because we expected them to do the same. Okay, it was just you mutually take care of your guys. Now, Japan was a different thing, different culture, different mentality there. But these people are enemy combatants. They have this double tap is against the law. It's against the rules. You cannot. Now, if they would have sat there and took a boat out to try to rescue these guys, and these guys would have somehow tried to kill the people that were trying to pull them out of the water, the Navy or the Marines, whoever would have pulled them out of the water, well, fight. I just got a message from somebody. I had somebody needs me to help them work today, so I got to go work cows. I like doing cows. Anyway, but yeah, this is the rules of war, people. And we're at war with these people, right? I mean, the thing that I don't understand, right? I still think CIA is trying to cut out the competition that they're dealing with. But, Venezuela cartels aren't even the top 10 cartels. All of them are, the top 5 are all in Mexico. I mean, why can't you send out the B-52s there, Mr. Trump, and start carpet bombing the cartels? I mean, a couple of days of that, that'll be the end. I mean, okay, our military is so strong, but yeah, we can sit there and take on China and stuff, but we don't have the ability, if we got this war on drugs, which we need to stop, and the CIA need to stop bringing it in too, okay? The war on drugs. You can't sit there and take out a few cartels right across the border? I mean, really? See, it's all a dog and pony show, people. And I hear they got 20% of our Navy off the coast of Venezuela. Bullshit. Anybody who tells you that is bullshit. You tell me we got 2 carrier groups out there? That would be 20% of our carrier fleet with all their ships and support trips. How many Marines out there? About 100,000 on ships? I mean, you guys are out of your mind. You have no idea how many ships our Navy has. But anyway, it sounds good, doesn't it? See, the thing is, why we aren't at war with Venezuela yet is because the American people aren't behind it. They're trying to sell this war to us by showing us videos of them blowing up boats and stuff. Like I say, a senior picking on a first grader. Okay? Why don't we, there's a lot of questions about all this war, war on drugs. Okay, and the way they're going about it is we're acting like a bunch of big bully pirates. I don't like it. It's going to lead to no good, and it's, as an American, I don't believe it should be handled this way. This is my opinion. I don't believe it should be handled this way. Okay, dropping leaflets over Venezuela and say you need to uprise against your government. What would they do if Russia did that to here? Dropped off leaflets and say, you know what? Your government's the one making the world an unsafe place. You guys going to do something about it? Remember 1776? They're going to sit there and do that? Answer the question correctly and I'll donate 20. Well, you can keep your money, sir. This channel takes no donations. Okay. No money whatsoever. I don't take super chats or nothing. See, I'm here about the information. I got a job. Okay. I hate fucking money. I've had enough of it in my life to understand the evils of it. And in the Marine Corps, when we were overseas, I saw what money did. You can take your $20. If you want to give $20 to somebody, go buy your neighbor that can't afford groceries, go buy him a bag full of groceries. Okay? So you're going to sit there and wave a green piece of paper in front of my nose like I'm a fucking puppy. That's one thing wrong with this world. People, all they do is strive for that green piece of fucking paper. Well, you know what's important to me in life? Don't need much money out there. I got the skills to build the home. I already got the horses. And I'm a lone wolf. So like I say, keep your goddamn money. This channel has nothing to do with money. You know, when I finally get monetized, watch a commercial, make the big boys pay the bucks. But I don't believe that the average little guy, who doesn't have any money now anyway. There's not enough money in the world anymore. Yeah, don't wave a $20 bill in front of my face. I ain't no fucking hooker or fucking stripper. I'm a goddamn American that's had enough. Okay? I got a YouTuber I associate with, and she says I'm very passionate. Okay? And we're going to talk about passionate freedom. But first, we're talking about Pete Hegsef, okay? By the way, like I say, if we're at war with these drug cartels, and they have said the word war, which that would mean that the government recognizes these people as enemy combatants, okay? So they have every right under the Geneva Convention, just like the people in Guantanamo Bay, the Muslims that were taken there. They were offered everything under the Geneva Convention. Okay? The rules under the Geneva Convention that with prisoners of war. And double tapping people is not part of the rules. God, if we would have done that, you know, we were instructed very well on what we were not allowed to do, you know, like mutilate dead bodies of the enemy, like we mutilate our children in hospitals for sexual deviant morons, killing prisoners of war that gave up. You know, it's just... Anyway, it pisses me off, and the average public doesn't know this stuff. They don't understand this stuff. Okay, we need to get back to the America, like I say, the German soldiers and the Japanese soldiers that hated America, the prisoners of war that came here in 1943 and 1944. We had, what, well over 400,000 of them, I think. And we changed their lives, not by being mean to them. We didn't get them to sit there and obey, and we killed them with our kindness. Okay, not kill them, but transform them into, if these people treat their enemy this good, how do their people actually live? If you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Like I say, I don't sell nothing on this channel, but I want the channel to grow. You know, YouTube, I tell you what, my channel's still growing, even though they got both feet on the brake, pushing as hard as they can. I don't know why they just don't cut my channel out. But anyway, it's because of people like you that help this channel grow and keep going down the road. So it keeps growing bigger and more people can hear, and more people can hear. Spread the word, people. We are looking bad on the world stage. Okay? Remember when Germany, when the war between Germany and Russia during World War II? All the atrocities that were done upon the Russian people first by the Germans as they were invading, because they thought they were morally right. And then the revenge that the German people felt from the Russian soldiers when they were defeated. I'm scared for our country. When they sit there and our politicians are doing this shit. And the American people, like I say, they're going to get it, so the American people are frothing at the mouth for war with Venezuela. They always say that us ex-military guys, we get more, not passive, it's we understand more. Okay, and the last thing we want to do is see it in our own age, especially in our own country. So that's my whole opinion on that. Trump is a scumbag. Well, he's not doing, like I say, I voted for him. I feel like I got kicked in the gut. I mean, wasn't he the president of peace? Over $1 trillion budget to the Department of War for peace? Yeah, right. Anyway, now let's talk about immigration. That's enough on that. That's my opinion on that. Give him time. Things will change. You know, why don't he just do what he said he was going to do when I voted for him? How long does he's got military troops in D.C.? Arrest the right people, not the guy selling a bag of fucking marijuana on the street corner. Don't worry about him. Get the real criminals. You got the National Guard in D.C. that are getting shot down, and he's not drained in the swamp. Hillary Clinton's not in prison. You know, Biden administration didn't have a problem at all arresting a ton of people, lots of people, in his first 100 days, and we ain't got shit. Okay? I'm a passionate person for freedom. And we're going to get into that passionate freedom. I'm a constitutional conservative. I've had it with both freaking parties. All they do is steal my money, spend it on stuff I don't want, and tell me I don't need my rights. And they'll, in both parties, do whatever they can to strip you of your constitutional rights. So which one's better? Okay, talk about immigration. Okay, this is my opinion. I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. Yeah, everybody has a right to opinion, and I'm just a little bit more abrasive of giving my opinion. But, you know, at least when you hear what I have to say, you'll remember it a year later. God, I remember that crazy-ass Marine on the YouTube channel. He said that shit. My God, wasn't he right? By the way, immigration. You know, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, when we had immigration, okay, these were people that were coming from countries because they didn't want to live there. They were fleeing them because they feel they were being persecuted in one way or the other. You know, if you feel your life is being encroached on by the government, you're being persecuted, okay, mentally. And these people, but they came here with the mindset. See, this is the difference between the immigrants of the past that made this country the greatest country it ever was to the immigrants of we got now that are going to destroy this country and take it for everything it's worth. It's the mentality. People came here back in the olden days to be Americans. They realized if when they came here, if they wanted to advance, they had to learn English, the language of the United States. A lot of them changed their names to sound more American. They wanted to assimilate whatever way they could to be Americans, to say, I'm an American. An American. They didn't care that they came from Germany or they came from Africa or they came from Asia. They were going to be an American. That was the title they wanted. Not African American or a German American or a Somalian American. No. Everybody wanted to be in the same melting pot. Americans. I mean, when these people would get these pamphlets, leaflets and stuff over in Europe, talking about how you could sit there and get free land in America, they just couldn't believe it. Because by that time, land in Europe was impossible to buy. It was all owned. Okay? You know, buying land in Europe is hard. But, you know, they knew that America was the way to better their lives. I mean, they had a dream that they wanted. You know, everybody, hey, Bambi, how's it going? There's no free land. Well, I meant back during when they were homesteading it. I realized the taxes, property taxes, and those got to go. That would be one thing. If our government could survive without property taxes. Like you say, that's why I'll never own land or a house again until property taxes are gone. Okay. By the way, they knew they had a dream when they were over in their other country, what they wanted to be. In the situation they were in, caused by the government, didn't allow them to do that. I mean, like I say, the people that founded North America, not the Native Americans, but the Europeans that came here. I mean, think about it. They came here to get away from where they were at, willing to take a life risk on a ship for 3 or 4 months going across this great ocean and showing up somewhere where you had to start chopping your trees down just to have a place to live. There was nothing there. So those people were obviously feeling persecuted. But the idea, like I say, the American idea of being free and stuff started with the first Europeans over in Europe that came and founded this country, that started colonizing this country. And then after the Revolutionary War, this country became a beacon, an opportunity of a land of milk and honey. There are no cats in America, and the streets are filled with cheese. That's the only thing I remember from that movie was an American Tale. But yeah, that's what people thought of America. And they wanted to be not taking, they wanted to be part of it. Whatever they could do to be part of it and not just be taken from it. They understand that hard work made your land of milk and cheese even more tastier. I mean, think of the wagon trains crossing the prairie 6 months through the summer. One of the ranches I was on in Wyoming, the Oregon Trail actually went through the ranch. It was Independence Rock rest area actually bordered the ranch. And there was still the one thing that's a high desert, the high plains or desert, whatever you want to call it there in Wyoming. And, there was stuff petrifies out there. And you'd still have old wagons and stuff that were discarding stuff and they were petrified. It's really cool. But what those people went through. Anyway, the mindset. This is, like I say, the mindset. Now what do we got? We got people coming here that they want to be African Americans. You got to have this title before American. Why? You're in America. Did you come here to America to be an American? And no, that's not what they're coming for. They're coming here for the land of milk and honey and to take advantage of all of it and send it back to wherever they came from. I mean, when the immigrants of the past, when they were increasing their wealth, they spent their wealth in the United States. Did they not? Of course, they didn't have financial like they had back then, but they spent their money in the United States. It made the United States greater. Look at all the money that's being shipped out of our country. We can't have this no more, people. The United States can't make the whole world great. And this is one thing our government needs to realize. Me as an American citizen, I know no matter what I do or this country does, I can't make the rest of the world great. But the rest of the world can destroy our greatness. And it has. Life is a psyop. It's not a psyop, dude. We're in the twilight zone. Like I had that video on dreams about, I had to get out of Minnesota because I kept having this reoccurring nightmare about me trying to escape, not a prison camp. It was just an area. I'm doing tactical maneuvers to get out of this, and I could never get out of it. And it was just an exhausting dream. And I haven't had one of them. I had one since I left the ranch, but, I feel the encroachment. But see, the thing is, I had talked to one of my buddies, and he asked me about him. And he goes, I'm doing the same thing, except I'm running down the streets trying to find my way out. Yeah, because we're the characters in the Twilight Zone. Remember, the sane one in the Twilight Zone was the one they were portraying as crazy. So anyway, that we're just all trying to get out. But the new immigration, the mentality's different. They're here to destroy this country. destroyed everything that our forefathers, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, all of your family's founders created, trying to destroy it, trying to take it. They're coming to your house and robbing your family's treasure chest, and we don't do nothing about it. That's their mentality. And then you're not even allowed to stand up to these people. I mean, immigration, look at Dearborn, Michigan. My hat's off to that one guy whose voice was just like me. He's had enough. And I've seen a few videos of him in the streets and in the city council meeting where the mayor, that piece of shit Muslim mayor, fuck you, you piece of shit. You're in our country. And he just, Jesus is king. I tell you what, he was not only standing up for Americans, he was standing up for God. Can you imagine? Dearborn, Michigan is the front line when it comes to the Muslims in this country. I mean, they can't enact their own Sharia law. That's against the Constitution. But that mayor, F you. F you, you piece of shit. These camel jockeys were born in mud huts, right? And then they want to sit there and come over here, gain political power, and start schooling us on what good life is. You know, when the wars do start in the free world, you're going to have war against immigration. That's what Britain, France, Germany, we are going to all have. Poland's going to be kind of safe from that. War against our governments, okay? War against our the civil war we're going to have between people. I mean, there's going to be so many wars going on in this country, and you know, like you say, once it happens in one of the Western countries, they're all good. Whether it happens in France first, Germany first, Britain's really close, Canada, or the United States. Once it starts in one country, it's just going to be a domino effect. Okay? That's what I see. Because people aren't going to give up their culture. Some people just aren't going to give up what God has given them and their parents have given, the future their parents and their grandparents have given them. But some people just aren't going to give up their freedoms. Okay? And those are the people they're going to have to fight, okay? And that's people like me. Anyway, borderline is immigration of the past, people want to be Americans that came here and did everything to better America. They didn't come here, Omar, to get into Congress and better Somalia. All you Israel first morons, you get into political power for Israel first. Mentality. This is America, the United States of America. And when you want to understand what America means, don't look at it now. No. You got the wrong frame of reference. When America was created, look at the frame of reference our founding fathers had. Read their words. Understand what they wanted and how fragile they really knew it was. And that it could be taken over easily. They gave us all the protections in the world to protect ourselves from this crap. Okay? And we just refuse to use them. You don't think that the Second Amendment's not a gift from God? Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about now. Levels of passionate freedom. There's a lot of levels of that in this country. Freedom. What does freedom mean to you? Does freedom mean to you that you got your cell phone and your internet, you got all the modern conveniences, and as long as the government keeps giving you this money for that, you're free? Is that what you consider free? I mean, how big is your cage, I should say? How big is an American? How big is your cage? How big is your cage before you hit those bars, which would be what the government says you can't go by? I'm so tired I've had an argument with my brother about, well, the government says I can't do this. I said, since when? What's the Constitution say? Okay, that's the law of the land. These morons in D.C. can get together and pass all the unconstitutional laws they want and get the Supreme Court to hold them up, just like Obamacare's a tax, right, Chief Justice Roberts? But all of a sudden, this tax needs a bunch of subsidies to stay alive. Yeah, it's a tax, right? You're taxing the rich to supply health care for the poor. The supreme dork, I tell you what. You know, these fucking people, they're just a man or a woman just like, just like us. All right? They put their pants on the same fucking way. Somebody told them they were really smart, and they believed it. Somebody told them that they could never be corrupted because they were a Supreme Court justice. Right, Chief Justice Roberts? And people believed it. And some of us just don't. Some of us really understand. But, my passion for freedom is I was a Marine. It's very high. And I see the enemy. What I saw overseas is what I see happen in this country now. I know the enemy is here. Okay? And my passion of freedom isn't just for myself. It's for all Americans, no matter how you believe. God, we got to stop being so divided by these absolute morons that we think are smart people. They're not smart people. They're demons playing on human behavior that they know very well. I mean, they're using the same playbook from the Nazis, the Bolsheviks. It's no different. It's just a new generation that has never been taught about the wickedness of this type of governments, that this is allowed to happen. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up to subscribe and the bell notification. Like I say, I don't take money at this channel. I don't take super chats, donations. This is about getting the word out, okay? I got a job. I make money. So, I'm like every American. I go to work, but this is to get the word out. I'm trying to do my part, like that guy in Dearborn, Michigan, doing his part to try to, buck against the system. Get people motivated, like Tucker Carlson. Now, he's a bad guy, right? Anyway, but they got the right passion for freedom. I mean, at least I don't have a target painted on me like Tucker Carlson does by some moron that wants to do another Charlie Kirk deal. Or Candace Owens. There's another one. Front lines. Hell yeah. Stir the pot. Rock the boat all day long. I'm there rocking with you. This is why people don't understand us. You need to calm down. Why? What do you think a tavern in Philadelphia or New York we'll go Philadelphia. A tavern in Philadelphia sounded like in 1775. If you can't handle harsh language, that probably wasn't the place to be. I mean, hell, the Marine Corps was created on November 10th, 1775 by a bunch of drunk guys that said, hey, let's start a Marine Corps. Ton Tavern. Philadelphia. I mean, they had a passion for freedom. Maybe I have more of a passion. Most military people do. Because for one thing, you join the military. Some people did it for the GI Bill. This is the way the GI Bill worked when I was in. You gave $100 a month for your first year. And when you got out of active duty, you could spend $2,000, or they gave you $10,800 for college. Can you imagine that? And I never joined the GI Bill. I was going to be a Marine for 20 years. But then again, in my unit, we they say you could go to school off when you were in the service off time. We were always deployed. We weren't, let's say, a college-friendly unit. I live in a cave before I'll bow down to the Sharia law. Yeah, this is where I'm living, guys. Okay, I hope to be making money off YouTube because of commercials by that time, so I can, continue on with this channel. But that I got to get out too. I'm going to get out while I still can, because people just aren't catching. We ain't even getting the 20% to catch up to us. I mean, people do not realize what digital currency, digital ID, and all this AI is going to do. But I'm getting out. Because one day we have the military in the streets. That's today. Tomorrow we're going to have checkpoints at every major intersection. As Americans, we're going to have to show our papers to travel in this country. And that doesn't sound like free travel to me. And people that tell us to settle down, settle down. One day you'll thank us. If it wasn't for us, the ones like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes and stuff, the ones that a lot of people watch, Joe Rogan. Those are the people that are holding the sky up right now for us. Okay? I don't have the clout they do, but they're holding the sky up for us. Calling these pieces of shit on what they're doing. And people listen to them and watch them. But, now Tucker Carlson needs to be taken off and stuff. When did being an American patriot be a bad thing? And it's the thing, too. A lot of Americans, we're going to have to fight for our freedom again one day. Rome had 4 civil wars. And our first civil war wasn't fought over freedom. It was fought over states' rights. And I guess since the federal government won, well, so much for state rights, huh? I mean, that big, beautiful bill they ran through, they had it where government's in absolute control of AI in the whole country, and states cannot regulate it at all for the first 10 years. So after that, it'll be just the system we got set up, so they won't bring a new system in. That's being a fascist. Well, I'm not a fascist. Okay. A fascist is a totalitarian piece of shit that wants to control you. A communist is a totalitarian piece of shit that wants to babysit you. Okay? You choose which one you want. Okay? And see, that's one of those statements, you're a fascist, you're a racist, you're this, that. Prove it. You can say anything you want. Prove it. Okay? Anything I say, you can either look it up or just look out your fucking window and see it happening. So anyway, name calling. I mean, I'm an old man, getting to be an old man. Do you think name calling bothers me anymore? You freaking amateurs. They call people fascists and have no idea what. Yeah, they have no idea what it means. A fascist government is a government kind of like the communist China is in a way, where people are allowed to own private property, businesses and stuff. And the state allows that for certain kickbacks, you might say, and certain privileges. In a communist country, they just own everything, but they're both totalitarian. Okay, whatever. They don't teach history no more. You got these people that are graduating college that can't even add 2 + 2, and they think they're fucking intelligent because they got good grades, because their parents paid a lot of money to the professor, and somebody told them they were smart. So anyway, but the passions for freedom in this country is what's going to save this country. And when 20% of the people get to the same passionate level I'm at, then maybe I can get my 3 or 4 million man vets, our militia, well-organized militia to surround D.C. Not in D.C., not to be threatening, but just to have a nice, month-long summer exercise surrounding DC with 3 or 4 million vets, getting all the kinks out of our chain of command. We have engineers. I was thinking about that. Our engineers that we would have could go out and assist the public. Oh, you need a tree cut down in your yard? Start fixing up the United States. Like I say, grand plans. So, and like I say, peaceful. And you'd be so big that what would law enforcement do? Let's see, we're surrounded by 3 million people that all have guns. They're going to stay the fuck out of it. And as an American, the well-regulated militia has every right to do it. Militia from every state, to show strength from every state. 3 or 4 million men and women. I'm all for it. Time to recall the well-regulated militia. The people of this country need us. Every woke person on social media is convinced that they're 10 times smarter than Einstein. Do you ever feel, as older people, it's just we got a better education. We got to thank God that we went through our teens and our early 20s, or our 20s and our early 30s, through the zenith of our country. We got the best education in the world at the time. I mean, I always say my 4th grade education that I got was equal to a high school diploma now. And that's probably giving the person with the high school diploma some credit they don't deserve. Is this the truth of this country, people? And like they say, when we make it so our children don't have a future, and if the children is a country's future, well, that tells you what's going to happen to the future of our country. Anyway, like I say, these are all my opinions. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Anything to help the channel grow, okay? Because we're all in the sinking ship together, people. It don't matter what your political affiliation is. Our politicians hate us all equally. And they just want to use the morons to sit there and make it look like people support them. Anyway, even if you got to pay them, right, Kamala? But I'm sure our politicians do this. They all do it, okay? Wings of the same bird, people, wings of the same bird. If you tell me something that a Democrat or a Republican does, I can tell you the same thing, the same scenario that a Democrat does. It doesn't matter. And as an American, George Washington didn't like political parties because they just divided the people. And that was our first division, political parties. And boy, they've divided us a lot. And I guess the color, okay, I'll go with the color. But they've really divided us since then, haven't they? And it just seems like we haven't fixed the first divisions. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. The sun is shining today. It's supposed to get in the mid to upper 40s. Time for some horse riding, getting out and enjoying the weather. So everybody have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow morning. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.